At Community First Credit Union, there's a lot to see. We build customized financial solutions so you can enjoy the life you want. We make it comfortable to have a conversation about what's important to you, like helping you stay on course to reach your savings goal. And what's important to us all, like helping to support causes that count. See for yourself what See First can do for you.
Good morning, everybody. Good evening to our American and international audiences. My name is Anne Rekovich, and this is...
I'm Renata Daniel with red lipstick on.
Still from last night, it won't come off. For those who joined us last night on our live show, we went slightly crazy. It was our final one for the end of the year, so we just went slightly nutty. Guys, this is our second last one for the year for you guys. We will be back on next week, and then we will be taking a break.
Yes,
so
we'll have a Christmas superstition special.
Yes.
And April, hello. Are you new, my sweet? Are you watching for the very first time? Say hello, which you did, and tell us where you're watching from. That would be awesome.
Good morning, Audrey. How are you? Oh, dinner with ghost stories couldn't be better. Oh, we've got some interesting ones this evening. Renata, I spotted the one you had, and I went, I've always wanted to know about that place. So that's awesome.
Yes.
Which is an Australian one. And I'm actually looking at an animal. Ghost stories and legends around an animal. So that will be fun. Yes, April is new from Newfoundland.
Oh, awesome. Hi, April.
So how has everyone's week been? Have you had a good one? Are you not packed? I'm so keen for a holiday. Are you ready for Christmas? I'm not. I've been Christmas shopping this morning, hoping parcels get here from overseas. Hi, Sandra. How are you? How's your man doing? I want to know.
Doing very well. I left him with 5 containers of liquid for his breakfast. For anyone who doesn't know, he just had bariatric surgery 2 days ago. They threw him out of hospital on the second day. They were going to actually get him to leave, or they actually said that he could leave the day after his operation. But he said, no, I've spent $15,000 on accommodation here in this hospital. I'm going to stay for 2 days because that's what I've paid for. Bugger you.
Wow. I wonder if they would have given him a refund on the extra day. Yeah, no. Yeah, Jodie said she watched the replay of last night's live, almost laughed coffee out through her nose.
Oh, it was horrendous, wasn't it?
This lipstick that Renata's got on
from yesterday
hasn't budged.
It's good stuff. Oh boy.
Awesome, April. Awesome. And for those who are interested in coming to Norfolk Island, it's one of the most haunted islands in the world. We have opened up a second weekend because our first weekend sold out within 48 hours. So we have opened up a second one. So if you'd like to know more about that, head over to the Anne and Renata Frightfully Good on Facebook, and you can learn all about that. Hi, Jerry. Welcome. So, yeah.
Please tell us where you're watching from, Jerry. That would be awesome to know. We are on the east coast of Australia, about an hour and a half north of Sydney, which is the capital. Most people know of Sydney. And Newcastle, where we are living, is actually the second oldest settlement on the mainland of Australia. So our history goes all the way back to convict settlement. And Newcastle became a centre for recalcitrant convicts. So convicts who...
That's a big word, Renata.
I know, who committed extra crimes. So once they committed a crime in the colony here, they were sent to Newcastle, which was an open-air jail, really. And in those early days...
from Canada, hi!
In those early days, they were all chained. So they literally had leg irons on and chains on their legs so that they couldn't escape. There was nowhere to escape to. There was bush everywhere, sacred bush everywhere around. There was no way of getting back to Sydney. So they kind of went, well, we don't really actually have to build a prison because this is a prison. And we're on an island. Where are you going to go?
So, April, as a new person to the show, welcome, welcome. What we do is we tell some real supernatural, frightfully good stories. And then at the end of the show, if we've got a little bit of time left over, we might throw out some of the oracle cards. Not throw out, but, we might pull an oracle card or two or three. But we've been finding that people have had such great questions that we've been going right up to the end of the hour. But we're more about education than we are about readings.
A whole lot of other people do readings on this network. So
we're offering something different.
Yes, we are here to educate and entertain.
I should flash my t-shirt. Frightfully good. Right, shall we get on with the show, Renata?
Yes, let us go for it. And thank you all for joining us this morning or evening or afternoon from wherever you are watching.
I just need to get the feed up. Just while we're getting ourselves sorted here, if you guys would like to share this live feed, and we thank the Spirit Realm Network for allowing us to present here today. It's always a hoot to come and do a show on the Spirit Realm Network. They do offer so much. So thank you very much to our producer Jim, who lets us come on. Okay.
Hello Adelaide, welcome to you.
So I've got to enter the studio. I'm just going to fix this up because it's going to pop into the stream. We don't really want the Anne's phone. Mute, enter studio.
If you have any, yes, we do, portable Christmas tree. We offer laughter. Absolutely.
I'm on the wrong feed. I was on a past feed.
And if you have any paranormal questions, throw them into the chat. Last week, we actually started probably 25 minutes late on our presentation because we were busy talking about something that came up.
Just so a bit of background on us, I'm a paranormal investigator. I've been doing this now for 10 or 11 years. Renata is a paranormal investigator, psychic medium who's been doing this for about 30 years. And I'm proud to say I just got my piece of paper for the University of Edinburgh passing the Introduction to Parapsychology course. Yay me! I'm so proud. This was such a hard thing to do. And I thank Renata and my husband Roman for helping me get across the line because it was hard. Lots of reading.
Once you've paid that much money, you got to.
Yep. £400 it was, but I tell you, I've learned a lot. Really have. Anyway, I need to get over now to this, and we need to make sure that it changes. So that it's working today. Yay! There you go, Renata.
Yes, so just a little bit of advertising before we begin, because we are very busy ladies and we do so many things. And one of the things we do is produce a weekly podcast called True Hauntings, which is available on iTunes and Spotify.
Or your favourite podcasting place.
And all you need to do is look for us, and you have a picture there of us. And what am I trying to say?
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's educational, but you will laugh your guts out the whole way through.
Just click on, listen to an episode or two, allow yourself to sort of get into the vibe of how we present.
Give us a crack.
And if you really like it, subscribe. subscribe and keep coming back every week. We know people who have joined us and then they binge on all the episodes, and we have 50 up now, 50 episodes. We've been doing this for a year, and we've loved every single episode.
It's 11/11.
Some more than others. And last week we did the rocks in Sydney, and this week, what are we up to this week? What are we doing this week?
No, Norfolk Island.
Norfolk Island. So that will be coming online later in an hour or two. So catch that one as well.
Yeah, the awards did finish. We didn't win anything. We're a very little fish in a big pond, but we are so super proud that all our beautiful people voted for us anyway. And next year we're going to give it another crack. So we'll see how we go. Here we are. You're trying to say, get your shit together and listen to our podcast so you too can scare the shit out of your co-workers when you fall off your chair laughing.
Yes.
That's Seamus.
That is true, Seamus.
Thanks for the words.
That is true, Seamus. They come at the most inappropriate times. We're getting onto a subject that is really, really scary and spooky, and then we crack a joke and you go, where did that even come from?
We're like 12 or 13-year-olds when there's a word that can have double meaning, then we sit there and giggle.
And we're allowed because we're that old.
Yeah, we're old now.
Anyway,
let's get on to it.
We are talking about another fantastic Australian haunted site, and this is all the way over the other side of the continent, and it is Western Australia that we are going to right now, and it is called Woodman's Point Quarantine Station. So quarantine stations were placed all around the coasts of Australia. So when people were coming from overseas, especially at those times when there were plagues and pestilence everywhere, like now.
Oh, wow.
See that? Oh, we're repeating history.
They didn't have motels back then to put people into, so it could spread it around nicely to everybody.
No, there were tents and dainty old houses, as you will see when I will show you the next picture. And Woodman's Point Quarantine Station, Western Australia, was one of these spots. Now, we were lined up to go to Western Australia and actually go here, but COVID hit. And so we weren't allowed to go anywhere at all. But it is still on our to-do list. So the Woodman Point Quarantine Station is certifiably one of the most haunted places in the state of Western Australia. It was established in 1886, and this station and isolation hospital was built specifically to treat victims of the bubonic plague of 1901. So Australia had 2 rounds of bubonic plague, and the bubonic plague broke out because of the fleas on the rats that were coming over on the ships.
Go marching by. What's that song?
What?
About the fleas on the back of the camels on the something of the court of King Caractacus. Sorry.
So yes, we had 2 bouts of bubonic plague.
I can give a ukulele out and sing it.
I think one was in the very late 1800s and one was at the start of the 1900s. They kind of, I think, streamed one onto the other because the only way to get to Australia at that point in time was on ships, and people weren't the only live things that came across. There were rats and there were fleas on those rats. And can you imagine being on a ship for 6 months with rats and fleas? Those people were going to get very, very ill. And of course, the idea when they landed in Australia was keep them away from everybody else. So put them in a quarantine station until they have spent the amount of time that they believed was necessary to make sure that you weren't a carrier of anything, and then you could be let out into the mainstream society. So in later years, the Woodman's Point Quarantine Station was used for patients suffering from contagious diseases such as smallpox, tuberculosis, leprosy, and the Spanish flu. Now, I was reading somewhere, someone wrote that the Spanish flu, I think, lasted for about 5 years in total before it kind of became a memory.
Eradicated.
So please, people, we still have some time with everything that we're going through now. And I was talking to, and I know I'm squirreling here, but I was talking to our lovely friend, whose name I've forgotten, who lives in London.
This is early in the
moment.
Beth.
Beth.
This is too early in the
Yes.
morning for us.
I was talking to Beth, who currently lives in England. London.
Have another sip of coffee.
London, England. And she was telling me that at this moment in time, there are, get this, hold on to your hat, 40,000 people a day contracting COVID.
A day?
A day in England.
Then England's not big.
40,000 people a day contracting COVID.
How are you guys going in America?
Wow. That just blows my mind. Blows my mind. So they've masked up again. So wearing masks on public transport is mandatory. So Woodman Point, which you see, and you kind of see here, and this is very reminiscent of Q Station Manly, which we have here in Sydney. Very reminiscent of the style of buildings that there are here. So Woodman Point is a headland on the west coast of Western Australia. It is located in the Perth suburb of Coogee, 22 kilometres or 14 miles south-southwest of the city centre and 8 kilometres or 5 miles south of Fremantle. Now, Fremantle and Perth are the largest centres in Western Australia. It extends westward into the Indian Ocean. The coastal waters immediately to the north of the point are known as Owen Anchorage, while to the south is Jarvis Bay. Woodman Point marks the northern extent of Cockburn Sound.
And I didn't even giggle.
No, you didn't. And
oh, yes, I recognise that.
There are very few photographs available of Woodman Point Quarantine Centre. But I love the one here on the left. That's an autoclave, and that's where they would put all the luggage to disinfect it.
Kill off the bugs. Heat it up to a certain temperature to kill off the buggies.
Kill off the bugs before you got it again. And at Quarantine Station Manly, which is in Sydney, which is an hour and a half away from where we live, and the quarantine station there.
2.5 hours from me.
2.5 hours. They have this autoclave right down near the water's edge because all quarantine stations were near water.
All the sailing ships, they had to come in and dock.
Absolutely. And then they had this luggage rack that would take the luggage up this big hill to where the accommodation was.
The funicular?
The funicular.
Or the? Funicular railway.
Funicular.
But you know the story of the autoclaves and what they actually did about the clothing and everything?
Tell me.
The ladies would arrive on the ships with their beautiful silks and everything in those their big trunks, and the trunks would be wheeled into these autoclaves. They would be heated to a certain temperature to kill off the bugs, and it destroyed all the silk clothing and all the beautiful clothing that was in there. But not only that, they missed out by a couple of degrees to actually kill off the virus. They didn't realise that they had to just go a little bit further. So all they really ended up doing was destroying everyone's luggage.
Oh, no.
Yep.
And the picture on the right is a more recent photograph. And
it's like a shower block.
Probably a shower block. Yes, it looks like a shower block.
The good old shower block. And what they would use in there. Sorry, do you have anything on this?
No.
I worked at Quarantine Station Manly for 6 years. They would use something called carbolic soap. And it's carbolic acid in the soap, so you'd lather yourself up. I'm not sure if they had it in the water tanks as well, but what it would do, it would remove the top couple of layers of your skin, so an exfoliant, so to speak, to remove any germs you may be carrying on your skin. The problem being with that is they didn't realise that you would then making your skin exposed and raw to any virus that was out there to latch onto you. So you were losing some of your natural protection. So they were doing more harm than good, but they were doing the best that they knew at the time, which is, I suppose, still relevant today.
Yeah.
They're doing the best that they know right now to cope with this virus.
That's true.
Oh, Robert! Hope no seaman got caught in one of or they may have been, the name Cockburn got its name. They lathered a little bit too much in the shower with the carbolic acid soap, I'd say.
Yeah, and you can still smell
They
it.
look like they're hanging.
You can. I know it's a really
That's
badly
really,
placed photo.
really bad.
Badly placed photo. You can still smell this weird smell in the
Yeah.
shower blocks today. It's like it never goes away.
Mhm.
And you can imagine the small children and the babies who were being put through this horrendous process and how much it would have hurt them. And heaven help you getting it in your eyes. Oh my gosh, how awful. Or any open wounds. How terrible this would have been. So walking into Woodman Point quarantine station just south of Fremantle, you know you're looking at a piece of history. The buildings tell stories of its past and the people housed at the station. But it's not only until you walk into the buildings that the darker history shows itself. It's been called Western Australia's best kept secret, not just for its history. Ghost hunters around the country have told of the station's
You struggle with that
paranormal
word, don't you?
activity. Yes. One of those is Western Australian spiritual medium Rebecca Millman. And she says, I may walk into a building and feel a bit of fear and anxiety. And that's what the ghost may be experiencing, the medium said. I might hear them tell me their name, or I might get a smell. Often at the quarantine station, you can get an odour. That's from the chemicals. So you might walk into a room and get a quite strong smell, and the next time you walk in, it's gone. She's been holding tours at the station for about 8 years now. So once a year, she hosts an overnight tour of the former quarantine station.
Oh, we have to find out when it is.
And tries to communicate with the spirits that haunt the area. Pretty much, we always get some form of activity, whether it's something turning up in someone's photos or you name it, we always get something, she said. This year's tour was held on a weekend, so they had extra time. And with more time to spend in each building, more paranormal phenomena are expected and felt, seen, heard, and smelled. In the hospital, there's quite a bit of activity. There can be anywhere from 5 or 6 spirits in there at a time.
We used to find it quite active at Q Station Manly too in the hospital.
Yeah. The station was built in 1886 to process and house anyone entering Western Australian shores with quarantine concerns before being allowed into the main population. For more than 90 years, it housed the sick and diseased to stop sickness from spreading into the rest of Western Australia. That means people infected with some of the most deadly diseases walk through the area. Pandemics like smallpox, the Black Plague, tuberculosis and leprosy. And in our New South Wales history, it was said that if one person on board a vessel had a disease, the whole vessel was quarantined.
That's correct. Because
the likelihood is that it was beginning to spread even though people did not have the symptoms yet. Yeah. So this is a picture not of a nurse hanging. I know it's a really bad positioning for her. I thought it was someone hanging when I first looked at it. But this was some of the original accommodation for people who came to this particular quarantine station. And the same thing with quarantine stations all over Australia. There wasn't enough time to build proper buildings. And when ships were coming in, they just erected tents and people stayed in the tents. And this is an actual ship called the Buna, that arrived in Western Australia.
Look at all the lines.
And the tragedy that occurred is one of the worst outbreaks of disease that came to the station. So let me tell you a little bit about this. One of the worst diseases to affect the station was the outbreak of Spanish flu in 1918. And Spanish flu came about after World War I. So not only was the world devastated by World War I, it then had to deal with the Spanish flu that killed, I think, 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 people around the world.
Wow.
It was horrendous, horrendous. So this was known as the Buna Tragedy. 27 soldiers and 4 nurses died of the disease at the station after the ship called the Buna returned to Western Australia from South Africa after the end of World War I. It's rumoured many of the nurses and soldiers who died from the Spanish flu still haunt the buildings. And that's a ship arriving. So there are young children, sailors, patients, and others would still haunt and all call the quarantine station home to this very day.
Oh, a seaman.
Seamen. Grumpy old
Seaman.
sailors, a grumpy old sailor
Seaman.
loves to let people know that he hated being made to retire from the sea. Young children's spirits can be heard playing and people feel them hold their hands.
We had that at Maitland Jail the other night. Where, Daniela and the ladies could all feel this child holding their hand.
Yes, yes. So they have been witnessed by staff members and people attending ghost tours. And this is a family group that would arrive from overseas. As you can see, they've got all of their clothing, all of their earthly belongings with them. There's a stack of them. They're going to come in, and guess what's going to happen? All of that is going to be taken away and put through those autoclaves. And yeah, they get very little back, if anything. And this is what the station looks like from the air. And as you can see, it is on this peninsula, on this outcrop that sticks out into the ocean.
Similar to Q Station Manly.
Yeah, as far away from humanity or the rest of humanity as is absolutely possible. Now, the facility continued to be intermediately as a quarantine station, used intermediately as a quarantine station until about 1979.
Wow.
When it closed. That's a long time. You'd think they'd reopen it now with all the stuff that's happening. Anyway.
That was the year you turned 50.
Right. The buildings, including dormitories and administration buildings, I'm just going to leave that lying there, strangling to death, as well as the crematorium, were placed on the register of the National Estate in 1999, which means that their heritage is secured. So no one is allowed to bulldoze or destroy the buildings. The dormitories and most other buildings are currently in use for school and other groups and now known as Woodman Point Recreation Camp. Yeah, it's really cute. It's really cute putting kiddies on a place where huge diseases were around for many, many years.
Yeah.
And a lot of that still sits in the ground.
It does. One of the places at Manly that we could go into, which was one of the cemeteries, you had to spray your shoes down with methylated spirits upon leaving, because when you're walking around, your shoes are kicking up the dirt and there's bodies buried there that carry the disease. So you had to make sure you sprayed your shoes down before you left to not carry that into the possibility of carrying it in.
Mm-hmm. And just another plug for our YouTube channel. For those that are joining us on YouTube, we thank you so very, very much. But please join us on the Anne and Renata Frightfully Good channel on YouTube and check out our misadventures. And these are small clips that we put on about all the funny things that happen to us along the way. And let me tell you, there's lots of those. And we have this particular picture is about potatoes. And you will have to join us for that particular episode to look at why we're featuring potatoes and our big adventure to try and find the big potato in Robertson.
Oh, no, it took forever, didn't it?
It did. And we missed it. First time, you would think, how can you miss this place? It is the biggest potato in the world, but we did. So
we have a talent.
It was our journey to go back and find it.
Let's open Disney on Pavalia Island for the kiddies.
Yes,
yeah! Why not? I think that sounds like a brilliant idea, Jodie Music. All right, she's handed it over to me. I've got control of the mouse. God help you all. Sorry, I'll just pop that back over there. All right, it's a time for one of our favourite segments, and that is Crap or Cool Pareidolia. And this is looking at photos that make you think there is something there. So the tendency to impose a meaningful interpretation or nebulous stimulus. In other words, it's your brain making pictures into things that you recognise when there's not actually there. So it's to see an object, pattern or meaning where there is none. This also happens auditory as well. We might do that next week, actually. There's a great clip.
Oh, there's music. You hear music all the time.
Yeah, you hear different words. All right, so Renata's first picture for today is...
an ultrasound.
Yep.
It's an ultrasound. And I want you to try and see what this person saw in this ultrasound. Now, Pregnant ladies love to show their ultrasounds around and go, look, there's my baby. But this particular person felt that they found something else in the ultrasound. So you take a look at that
yes.
and see where you can see what this person saw. I will read out what they wrote when they put this up online. Seamus, they're always terrifying, yes.
A portable Christmas tree is spotted. E.T. I hope our friend F Dragon is not on this morning because we don't want to mention that F word that sends our feeds into disarray.
That's right. So if you're not quite sure what we are looking at, I want you to look up in the top,
Sandra's got a cat.
Top left-hand corner. Top left-hand corner. Draw your eyes up to the top left-hand corner. You will see there what this person was seeing. And the problem is that once you see it, your brain latches on and won't let you see anything else. Yes, a face, absolutely. So this particular person said that they were showing around.
Jodie. Can't see clearly without a red hula hoop on it.
Well, that's true.
It's all right. The next photo has red hula hoops. You'll be ready for it.
So they were showing their ultrasound around to friends when someone mentioned, oh my gosh, there is a face staring through. So in this person's womb, there is a face staring. And the problem is that, again, as we mentioned, once you see that face, it's really, really hard not to see it. But those eyes and that nose are pretty creepy. I would suggest, can everyone see it? Can everyone see that face on the left-hand side?
Nose of a cow. Oh, I don't know why it just jumped. Sorry, don't know what it's doing there. Robert could see a cow. Looks more like Bob Marley, says Tracy. Portable Christmas tree sees Elvis. Would you like an Elvis song? I've got my ukulele. And a cat face is in the bottom of the uterus. Oh, yeah, I see that down the bottom. I think that's the placenta, actually. Oh, my God, you used to work at New South Wales Port. Rick, so did I many years ago, many decades ago now.
Yes, Mission Island.
A former asylum in Hawkesbury River. It's pretty haunted there. I could never sleep and declined to work there ever again. Oh, my God, I would love to go there. To be fair, I see faces everywhere. That's because your brain is programmed to do that, Seamus. That is creepy. Oh, yeah, I see the cat. Yep. All right, so ready for the next one?
Yep. This is a series of 3 photographs, and this is something that always astounds me when people really get into their photos and look at every portion of it. So the far left is the original photo. The middle one is the photo enlarged, and the red circle, thank goodness they put a red circle around the thing that is of interest. Really, if I look at that one, I still can't see what the person is seeing. I cannot see what the person is seeing of interest there. But then we go to the far right, and the photograph is enlarged yet again. And this person wrote, please tell me what you see. My friend and I see something different every time we look at the crystal ball. So the crystal ball is reflecting shapes within the room, but their eyes are going, I think I see a person in there. Yes, Sandra Lawrence, you see a reflection. Exactly. But that reflection has now taken form and shape because you are seeing something that looks like 2 eyes, maybe a nose and a mouth and a head. But it took that enlargement to actually get to that point. Otherwise, there is absolutely nothing happening in that photo.
Jodie says, I'm only seeing scary power of the 2 thick hula hoops. Next one?
Yes, next one. Okay, this is a glorious photo, an absolutely glorious photo.
What are we looking at?
Yes, and the amount of information that this person wrote when they put this up. And look, I've taken this off, and this was off one particular Facebook page, and these were 3 consecutive questions. I didn't have to look far. They were 3 consecutive questions that were asked by people who had taken photographs, and they posted it up, and they said exactly the same thing. What do you see? What do you see? Which is such an open-ended question, because people say the most extraordinary things.
And Michael, yes, that's what we saw too. A round flower holder at the hairdresser salon. Yep.
So around 3 a.m. outside my hotel room, I'd been there 10 minutes having a ciggy or a cigarette, and I saw and heard nothing and no one. I was alone. What do you think?
I love the WDYT.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I was alone. What do you think? Now, she saw nothing, heard nothing, and there was no one there. There is your answer.
Nothing.
Nothing. Now, that is some sort of light anomaly. So, there could be a light down the corridor and your camera isn't focusing, woman. But there
and if
will
they're
be
having a cigarette as well, that's going to diffuse the light behind her as well. Yeah.
there will be 100 people that will go on and go, oh my God, it's some demonic form. Get out of there. How could you not see anything? How could you not feel anything? You need a cleansing or a clearing. And
Again,
you're going,
if we say that if you can see a face in something, it does not mean it's a ghost. It just means your brain is making it into a face or something. Ghost cat. I like portable tree Christmas trees answer. They can see a question mark.
well, at least the one good thing they did with this photograph was that they removed the face so that it's anonymous.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go to this one.
Okay. Now, once I've seen what I've seen, I can't unsee it. This is a problem.
Yeah.
I can't. My mind will not allow me to see anything else.
Yeah. So this is one of these photos where they say, "Oh, there was no one there at the time," and there's a third face in there. Can you see the other face in there, guys? Now, I got this from a paranormal website, which I will let you know what it is in a moment. They were doing talks on pareidolia, but they said that there appears to be a third person in the middle, and this is actually the result of a low-quality image from a cell phone or phone camera. And it's probably taken quite some time ago where we had low amount of pixels on the camera phones, and it is either somebody photobombing or it's some sort of duplication of the face there in the background. I don't know. It's very convincing though, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, until you knew what was actually behind them in the background, it would be difficult to determine what that is.
Mm-hmm.
But they are saying that it is the result of a low quality image. Creepy face, says Andrew. Hi, Lizzie. How are you? Cyclops, says Robert. She's almost picked boogers. I didn't see that before. Almost got their finger up their nose.
I'm wondering what it could be that would make that that image there.
Because it looks like a face, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It looks to me like somebody's tried to photobomb them, and it's just very bad resolution with the pixels, and therefore it hasn't.
And it's moved.
Yeah.
Like they've moved.
Yeah.
So that it hasn't been able to catch all of the detail.
All right, let's go on to the next one. I love how you guys interact with these ones. Now, I have to find the photo that we've got, because remember we went to Jenolan Caves and I took that photo of and it was like the Guardian.
Yes.
But I think these ones are trying too hard.
Yeah. And he's really creepy there with his hands in his pockets. Like, that's just creepy in itself.
Yeah, that image is really disturbing. I don't know whether he's trying to pull his undies out. He's got a bit of a front wedgie happening there. But yeah, that is disturbing. So they've looked for faces in the rock wall behind, and I mean that's quite a good image there that it does look like a face on the back wall, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does. Once you pinpoint the area, it does help that it's got a circle around it, so it has
Robert's nailed it. Nosferatu.
a boundary and a border, so it's framed, and so therefore your eye is drawn into the center of the frame, which also makes it very sort of conceivable that you're seeing a face.
And I do appreciate they have blocked out this person's face as well. So this was another example of pareidolia, where your brain will try to matrix it and form a pattern that is recognizable. I can see faces all throughout those rocks there. There's lots of them. This is from paranormalproject.com.au, so we thank them for their photos that they've got up there. If you want to learn more, head to their website and check them out. Okay.
Awesome.
Must be my turn.
It is.
Just before we do that, what have I done there? Let me get back over to here, and I'll just take that out for a second. So I hope you enjoyed that segment. We do have one more segment to go. How are we going for time? We've got time to do it this week. Maybe he has his church pants on, Holy Pocketses.
Yeah, I like Jodie music. The white hula hoop is angelic. The red hula hoop is demonic. I do like that. I think we should keep that as standard for all paranormal photography from now on.
That's it. Yep. All right. We're going to
awesome. We'll start a trend.
We'll copyright that. We'll say courtesy of Jodie music. We're going to head into now supernatural dogs. So let me jump back over into the thing. So I found this cute little article, and that's a good one, Andrew. Reminds me of Creepy Gargoyles of Notre Dame in Paris.
That's
Nicely
true,
done.
Andrew. Yes.
So this cute little article was talking about dogs. I thought, what story can I possibly get about ghostly dogs? Because we quite often have people ask us, do dogs come back once they've passed over to visit us? And many people report that they feel the sensation of their dog or their cat jumping up onto the bed and snuggling next to them and all that sort of thing. So let's go into some of the dog stories. Anyone know the name of this one? Isn't that a handsome hound? And look, this one is... Jodie lives to educate. Thank you.
Jodie, love you to death.
And this photo is credited to Grafissimo Getty Images. And it is the guardian hound of the underworld. Three-headed dog of Greek mythology guards the entrance to the underworld, allowing spirits to enter but never to leave. They have 3 heads, lion claws, serpent tail, and mane of snakes. He also guarded the entrance to the
falafel stone.
The falafel stone. I had a couple of these last night, and I have a headache
stone.
this morning. The philosopher's stone bed. In Harry Potter.
I still can't say it.
Yay, Robert. Yeah, he's got it. But what's the other name from Harry Potter? The Hounds from Hell, says Andrew.
Yeah.
What was the name from Harry Potter? Do you remember? I know what it is.
I cannot remember.
And also bonus points for what did they use to send him to sleep so he would go to sleep? Oh, there we go. Falafel
stone.
Fluffy. That's right. Oh, Jessie, thank you so much. Kerry got it. Seamus got it. That is the Severus, not sure. Right. Fluffy, correct. Jessie, thank you so much for sending a super sticker. We really appreciate you doing that.
Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you.
From the Sorcerer's Stone. Music, that's right. If I remember correctly, it was a harp that they used. That they used to get the dog to sleep.
Oh, really?
Oh, look, Sandra's just put up an interesting comment there. I thought my dog that passed over was visiting in my sleep. Could feel walking on the bed. Turned out to be a possum. Gave access to the cat food. It used to pull my leg and make sure I was asleep. Oh, God. You got to love the possums. I have to say, the opossum in America scares the poop out of me. It's the scariest looking animal I've ever seen. Anyway, so that's a mythical one. Now let's go on to ghost dogs. So this one is also the photos credit to Iridium Photographics. And this is the Mouth Doog, the spirit who wanders Peel Castle.
Ooh.
Now, how many times have you been on ghost hunts or ghost tours and they'll say, we've got the ghost dog? Does anyone know of any ghost dog that they've heard in tours and things like that? I have, because one of the very first ones I did in Newcastle was at West Walls End Cemetery, and it was run by a psychic medium who told us that the ghost dog walks up and down this track here.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I've never heard that story.
Oh, I think it was very creative. Anyway, the ghostly canine at this particular place is a calf-sized black dog who haunts Peel Castle on the Isle of Man. Can we visit? In
No,
fact,
that's the one over the water. We can't go there.
well, I can visit, you can't. He is seen that often by the guards that they actually began to become less fearful of him. According to one law, one drunk soldier went down a passage, nothing like going down a passage when you're drunk, the things you do when you're drunk, to confront the ghost dog.
Yep.
He came
Pardon me. Sorry.
came back too terrified to speak and died 3 days later. After that, that back passage was sealed and never used again. Not even when they were drunk. No entry. Mouth Doog sightings continue, but if you're still scared, you should know that Mouth Doog also goes by the silly sounding name of Moddy Doo.
I think Mouth Duke is pretty silly.
Modi Doo, which is a bit like Scooby Doo, I suppose. And they think that will take away some of the fear for you. Yeah, okay. What are you doing?
I'm still posting.
She's bored.
I'm posting. I'm posting this. I am sharing. So if you could still share, even though we've got just a few minutes left, if you can still share, it may encourage people to actually go back and watch the whole thing. Please share.
And I'm going to murder this person's name. Inigo Eshenik is the photographer for this one. I like this one. Now we're sort of moving around the world, looking at some of the different stories about ghost dogs. This is the Okori Inu, the demon who follows travelers. This demon dog is from Japanese mythology. Now it's either a good news or a bad news monster. The good news is his ferocity keeps other demons away while he's following you. The bad news is if you stumble and fall while you're walking, he's going to eat you up.
Oh.
Isn't that nice? Don't lose your footing. However, if you do stumble and fall, all is not lost. You can fool the demon if you pretend you stopped on purpose to take a rest just by saying, this is exhausting, or oh, I'm so glad that I decided to stop on purpose on my face when I fell into the ground and check out this mud puddle, something like that. Make it sound like you did it on purpose. When you arrive at your destination, you should leave food out as a thank you for the puppy for not eating you. Blessed puppy. Then the demon leaves you alone forever, most likely. Isn't that a great one?
It's a good story.
I like it. Scooby Snacks remove fear forever. Portable Christmas Tree said, I saw my co-worker's cattle dog trotting behind her at work.
Oh.
Were they alive? All right, we're nearly there. Now, we are
You missed the other one. You missed the last one, that one.
Oh, did I skip one?
Yes.
Oh, Kadejo, the spirit who helps or punches.
Okay.
We're going into Central America now. Similar to the Okori Inu, the Kadejo or Cadejo, it's a H. Cadejo of Central American folklore might help or it might eat you. The legend speaks of two demons, a black Cadejo and a white Cadejo. One protects travelers from harm and theft. The other leads to bad decisions and danger and stands on two legs and throws punches like a human.
Ooh.
Now let's have a guess. Which one do you think is the one that throws the punches? Is it the black one or the white one? Pop it down in your comments. Let me know.
Hmm.
With the actual legend, there's a bit of a delay. So by the time people have chosen, we'll be able to keep moving on here. The legend disagrees on which Kadeho is which, and turning your back or speaking to either makes you go mad. So the upside of meeting one is pretty small.
Okay.
But I just think that most people would probably say the black one because that's what we associate with the darkness of the soul or the mind. So it's, yeah. Anyway, I love this picture. Once again, this is Getty Images. So this is from China now. Tiangu, the flying dog who eats the sun.
Oh.
This flying black dog of Chinese legend is responsible for eating the sun during a solar eclipse.
Oh.
Because some dogs will just eat about anything. And I have had a Labrador who tried to eat a tin of salmon, a closed tin of salmon.
Oh.
He bit into it and tried to actually eat it. The story goes that Zhang Jian, god of birth, fires arrows at Tiangu to ward him off. Eventually, Tiangu gets scared and throws up the sun like an old tennis ball. And our little star is safe and a little bit slobbery, but it's okay.
Oh, cutie.
Oh,
cute.
I had to put this in because it was just too cute.
Yeah.
Now, other ghost dogs who might more accurately be called apparitions show up at certain landmarks frequently throughout time and to familiars and strangers alike, and they've become part of the landscape that they can't, just like they can't give up their favourite chair. So just to mention a few other places, the Holly Hotel in Holly, Michigan, has an apparition of Leona, the rat terrier that runs up and down the halls and bark. Now, what was the one that we did? Lemp Mansion? Is it Lemp that the owner shot the dog before he committed suicide?
Oh.
His beloved dog, and the dog is seen on the stairs.
Yes.
But be careful, not all ghost dogs are man's deceased best friend, like in Valle Crucis in North Carolina. There's a demon ghost dog who springs out of the cemetery, chases you down, and comes right after your car.
Wow. That's scary.
Sounds like a real dog. If you visit Hanging Hills in Connecticut, you might want to meet their legendary ghost dog, the black dog. Once again, it's all these black dogs. Then get out of there because if you keep running into him, it's a death omen.
Oh.
So I would like to thank dogtime.com for these ones. I took it from a couple of different articles, but it was from dogtime.com. The end. Thank you for joining us. There is our socials. Please, people say that they really enjoy listening to our stories and they like getting a bit of a laugh from us as well. We have loads more on YouTube. And if we ever get banned from Facebook, and sometimes we get warned for the most stupid things, and if they shut our Facebook down, we will be over on YouTube. So make sure you have popped over to our YouTube page. Find us, Anne and Renata.
Please subscribe.
Frightfully Good. Please, please, please. It means the world to us to have you do that. All right, so that brings us to the end of the show. Let me take that back out and put us back up. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Now, like we said, we have one more visit with you next Friday, and we will be talking about Christmas superstitions. So that should be awesome. We might even get dressed up for you. Who knows? We might.
I've got my ukulele. You can do my Christmas carols.
We might just wear something on our heads. Who knows? Who knows? But yes, it is that pointy end of the year where everyone is taking a break and going, whew, we do need a few weeks off just to regroup and work out what we're going to do for 2022. We hope to see you all next Friday as we share the end of the year and have some laughs and have a chat about some of the weirdest Christmas superstitions around the world. I can't wait to get into this, and let's share some fun. And if you know of any weird superstitions associated with Christmas from where you live, grab them and hold onto them, and let's share them next Friday, and invite your friends to come along too. We want this Friday to be the biggest show that we have done up to this point in time, with the most people on. That's what we're aiming for. Biggest show, most people watching, Christmas special, superstitions. We're dressing up. We're going to be hilarious. What else do you want?
Unlike last night, we won't be drunk.
Or we might be.
I had a couple last night. I wasn't drunk. Yeah, Robert, the lipstick is actually still on Renata from last night.
Yes,
come
Robert,
off.
it's still
she
there.
tried
I
everything,
scrubbed.
couldn't get it off.
I scrubbed.
And I knew that when I put it on her, I knew that one doesn't come off.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. All right. So thank you guys. We will be back next Tuesday for a show, and then we're not doing next Thursday tarot show, and we'll be back for this one. I think it's Thursday for the Americans, Friday morning for the Australians. Love yous all. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for being there. Thank you very much for the super stickers and stars. And
Have a
guys,
great week, everyone.
We'll see you on the dark side. Bye.